Hey there, comic book fans! I'm Andersen. I just watched the season 4 finale of Arrow, and to be honest, I wasn't that crazy about the season, with the exception to the Person in the Grave storyline, but I'll get into why I feel that way in just a second. So if you haven't seen the season finale yet, keep in mind I'm going to be going through key plot points from the episode. So here is your spoiler warning. And there it goes. As per last episode, Damien Darhk is trying to gain the Rubicon codes from Felicity, so that way he can launch all his nuclear missiles and destroy the world. He's able to achieve this, and in doing so, he severely injures Curtis Holt. I think this would have been a good opportunity to introduce elements of Curtis's comic book counterpart, Mr. Terrific, or at least solidify him as a part of Team Arrow, but it seems that they're going in a different direction, but they haven't ultimately negated the idea of him being part of the team in Season 5. As you can imagine, the city is in chaos given the threat of nuclear war, which leads to Oliver giving a rousing speech to the citizens of Star City, which I thought was actually a very compelling speech. I just had an issue with the logistics of said speech. Oliver stands on a car in the mix of a riot, which somehow he gets the attention of all these people, and somehow gets his speech broadcast to different radio stations and TV frequencies, which I didn't really understand how he planned for that. I would have preferred to see him broadcast an announcement like he did at the end of Season 3, announcing to the city that he was the Green Arrow. So his speech rallies the people of the city, and he's seemingly able to harness their will to render Damien Darhk's powers useless, which was very reminiscent of when Goku uses the Spirit Bomb of the people around the universe from Dragon Ball Z to defeat Majin Buu in the Buu Saga. I think I would prefer the idea of Damien Darhk losing his powers as a way to show how pathetic the villain really is and making his demise that much more satisfying. Damien actually makes a great point when he says that Oliver couldn't kill the man that killed his mother, so he feels safe in a sense, but given the fact that he's killed so many people and his closest friend, Oliver feels that he has every right to kill him, which didn't make a lot of sense. I think they should have focused on the idea that Damien Darhk's magic couldn't be contained, and that's why they had to kill him. Speaking of deaths, I want to touch on the flashbacks, which I know I haven't really talked about in this episode, because frankly they haven't been that good. Basically, this woman, Tiana, who's allied with Oliver, has succumbed to the idol that Damien Darhk will someday hold, and she asks him to kill him. And I really like how he brutally snaps her neck. It really distinguishes how he was this crazy killer before he was rescued from the island versus who he is now. We also get a cameo in the scene who I assumed is going to be Shadow, kind of consulting Oliver in this moment, but it turns out it's Amanda Waller who sent him on this mission and offers him a role in Argus, but he has a mission to fulfill for Tiana back in Russia. But I think that really contradicts the idea of him being trapped on the island for 5 years when he has all these connections to Argus and other agendas. I really wish that they focused on him staying on the island, given the fact he has to grow a badass beard in a matter of a season. Finally, after Oliver's rousing speech that united the city and his team, they all decide that they want to take a break and not be part of the team anymore. First, you have Quinn, who can no longer be a cop, which I think solidifies that he's not going to be a show regular anymore, but he'll probably come back as a guest star for a couple episodes in Season 5. We have Diggle, who feels guilty about killing his brother, who I actually think was justified in his actions, but he needs to take a break for the team because of that. Thea, seemingly out of nowhere, doesn't want to be Speedy anymore because she doesn't feel like that's who she really is, which was never set up at all throughout the season. But even more random than that was Malcolm Merlin showing up and helping the team out of nowhere, which really dampers the idea that I had that he was going to be the overarching villain for Season 5. Lastly, Felicity is the only one that wants to stay with Oliver, despite the fact they made such a big deal about them breaking up. But given all the fan backlash about that, I guess they're trying to rewrite that in a sense, but it's just coming off as very inconsistent. So that's my thoughts on the season finale of Arrow. What do you guys think about the season finale or the season as a whole? And as always, guys, if you like this video, be sure to share and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook at John Ryan Andersen or on Instagram and Twitter at The Comic Look. Remember, guys, as always, comics do deserve a second look.